Welcome back. It's February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2. It's the last day. We have to win this trial or we're screwed. Basically. That's pretty much where we're at, so let's see how it goes. This is the defendant lobby, alright. There's no defendant. Been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Where's Emma, for that matter? It seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Etchworth, knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out, though. Where do I got that from? You know, the only one reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number doesn't belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. She didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SO9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. I don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? Yeah, he's gonna work with us then. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gaunt has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m. District Court. Courtroom. Number 9. Oh, it's number 9. There's very soft seats. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. There you go. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gaunt. Slow fade in. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Ochi. Been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. Oh, Lana? Oh, it's admitted. Indeed. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. Prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Oh, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial. is Edgeworth going to object? Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise, this can't be happening. It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. Court find the defendant.
Objection!
There we go. One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand that this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gaunt. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me that some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness, Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. Yes. And he can still prosecute you. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well. Court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gaunt? Worthy. You'll live to regret this, mark my words. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Skye. My occupation, I'm Londa's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark, one of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it is. Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Or not. 2 years ago! Right, here we go. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out. I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Okay, 2 years ago, what? Okay. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. Yeah. A man came running in and took me hostage. A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest. When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right? Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in an instant. What? Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. It was pitch dark. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image on the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman. The victim. Hear more, yep. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes. That's what's so scary about this trial. That you told Detective Goodman about what you saw. Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Oh, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was giving... What? The list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. Okay. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. Right, so he mentioned the evidence list, so if I... Because we know we got the other half, haven't we? List of evidence in the SNI's case was ripped in half, so this is part of all I've got. Right, yeah. Objection! Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. Duh. And all I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for the case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SO9 incident. The other half. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over. Turn it... Ah! What's this? Oh. Didn't expect the actual picture to be there. Yes, what is that? Yeah, that's it. That's the picture I drew. Oh, this is a lovely picture, yes. Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists? They're different from each other. What? Look here, Mr. Edgeworth. The evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. There you go, that's what I was after. You can see the marks here when they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Oh, this is quite a big what. Order, order. Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor, you're right, Mr. Wright. Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth? It's possible. Let's see. Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Well, sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. Oh. Didn't expect that to come back up. That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated to the court record. Alright, very strange. Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago? Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted, so you don't know who's who then, actually, from that. So that, like, the CG we're being shown isn't actually what she saw. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. How do you make that from two silhouettes? The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Okay. Image picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Well, I don't have an argument against that. This flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in an instant. Well, we'll press on that because I don't think there's enough information there. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw? Of course, this is the exact scene. It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives. Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright? No, of course not. I'd better watch out, or you might find some way to cut my salary. I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me. Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Yes, it's just silhouettes. Huh? Oh, well. It's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Okay, so let's see, what's the contradiction? So let's check the evidence. What could it be? What could it be? It's got to be related to that case. Not the... yeah, so the SO9 case is going to be relevant. Is that bang in the game just then? I definitely heard a bang. I'll tell. I'll mark down the time just so I can see if there was a bang there, because that was very strange. Maybe he's not wearing his hat? The armor? Maybe, because it's in that office, maybe he's picked up the weapon from this statue thingy doodad, like the armor there. I don't know. Neil Marshall, 27 Mayo. Between 7 and 7:30, cause of death, single stab wound piercing heart and lung. Back from blood loss in under 10 minutes, weapon found in wound was missing tip. It's just a cloth. So I don't know. I don't know. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Flash and lightning was so bright I could see. All I could see was shadows. Yeah, so all she could see was the darkness. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Okay, so it's someone lunging down at someone. They're gonna plunge something into their chest, maybe cut their arm on the way down. Is it from the statue thingy? That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind, and yet there's clearly a contradiction here. What? That's exactly what I saw. It's gotta be that. There's something then. Where are we going? MS Prince, off the list. Go to the awards. He's being stabbed from the front, not from the back. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? The weapon, I guess?
Take that!
The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding, if you can call it that. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body, so it would have already been stabbed at that point then. It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
Objection!
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken. Ah, what's the meaning of this? Oh, see, for me, it was just a case of like, no, he seems to be stabbing him from the front, he hasn't done it yet, but alright. Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. That's right. What does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness' memory is mistaken. Thank you. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at that time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice. All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. Can't deny the possibility. No. Order, me. I take away. Are you saying that investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gaunt. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall Okay, chased after him and was killed by Dark. It's my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. Man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There is another one, I guess? If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observation error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife. So please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Ah, crap. So it can't... Right, go through it. It's like, can't be an ID. It could be... Because where's the halberd? Because it's in that picture. So could it be... Yeah, because the tip's gone. So it's that. I was gonna say, because the tip's gone. The tip's gone, like the actual knife's gone there. The halberd. But it's not in that picture, so there we go. And the answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Ah! What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was, in all likelihood, from this award. Oh, the award. Order, where's my takeaway order? Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? If the King of Prosecutor Award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marsh. Oh, I mean, I've been saying that's a possibility for a while now. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Who now? What? Wait. I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth? What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What? You drew that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up, and now the blue badger? Should be interesting. Indeed it would. But we're going to have a look at Emma's recollection at the start of the next part. So we shall see you then. Ta-ta. You know, for now.